welcome to Talking with Famous People. I am the host of Talking with Famous People, Zachary. We have a famous person, Tiffany, and we have our famous person, Hamidou. Is that how you pronounce it?
You just call me Hami.
Hami?
Yeah.
All right. So,
Tommy.
Hami, when
Hey.
you aren't listening or talking to
Yeah.
someone, what's going through your head?
Huh?
When you aren't listening or talking to someone, what's going through your head? What are you thinking about?
Uh, I'm just like thinking about just like thoughts like
You think about what?
function is introverted intuition. Like I can't really explain it, like
Is it cutting out for you too?
it's kind of similar to like psi, but it's not. It's more like intuition. That like intuitive thing that I think about. Like so like I'll see something and then like I'll so for example like if I see let me see for example. Like if I see something in the external world, like I'll remember it. It's similar to like how SI person remembers stuff, but it's more of intuition though. It's not like the physical world.
So you
So
you
it's
think
not it's
you,
not like TI
you
either, which confuses me.
so you think you're an I? Is that basically the gist of that?
Yeah, but the thing is like, yeah, but like I'm so confused because like I get confused with like introverted thinking, introverted feeling, stuff like that.
Um,
Like I'm having trouble like differentiating the, between them.
right. Well, so primarily, introverted thinking would be your internal logic, right? So if you think about uh, thinking as something that, so I'm an INTP, so my dominating function is going to be TI. So I constantly have a logical framework working within me, and I refine the framework by getting information through NE. That's my perceiving function. So TI works
Hmm.
in itself is a logical framework. So uh, TI compared to TE, which would be extroverted thinking, is thinking that manifests in the external world. So that would be such as like almost like bossiness, things like that, right? Where it's like uh, if you've ever had a really bossy manager and they tell you what to do all the time, that's TE in
Yeah,
action. So that's
yeah,
TE manifests by bringing about logical, or at least attempting to bring about logical order in the external world. It's structure. So those are the differences
yeah. I
between.
would say I have T though.
Mm-hmm. Uh, so
But the thing is, like, I don't, like, I know that I use TE based on what you said, but the thing is, like, I feel like I use like introverted thinking, like the descriptions, like I relate to them as well.
the introverted think. Well, I don't think it necessarily implies that because you use extroverted thinking, it doesn't mean you never use logical like internal logic, right? It doesn't
Yeah,
necessarily imply that you can't have any logical order within you. It just means that your primary mode of functioning is ordering the external world. So like for example, I can my TE, my extroverted thinking, I still utilize it even though it's not my primary force stacks. It's still in my shadow functions, and it would be my sixth or my fifth function, and it still is utilized. Right, we utilize all the functions, but the functions that you prefer, the cognitive faculties you prefer, is what's going to define your type. So I
okay.
try not to like whichever you prefer to use is probably the function that's in your primary stack. If that makes sense.
Yeah, like for example, like if I'm learning something like, let's say for example, like in math, I'll only care about the things that I need to know for the test, for example. But I would rarely ever like try to learn everything from like try to learn everything on a logical level and like have and like a logical framework about everything.
So you study
Or
for
even like
efficiency.
learn everything like learning for learning's sake, like I don't do that.
Right. You learn for efficiency.
I only learn yeah, no, I learn for like if it has like a purpose.
Yeah. So,
That's T or
so you said you
You're
thought
not
you
a fan
were.
of random interesting facts.
Wait, what did you say, Tiffany?
You're not a fan of random interesting facts.
I mean, I do know like some interesting random facts, but like I
You
don't go
wouldn't
for that.
start
Like
now. You look for them.
if there's no use for it, then I won't put the effort in.
Do you think the truth is created or destroyed, or created or discovered? My bad. Do you think the truth is created or discovered?
Or
I
destroy.
mean, I think it's relative as both. I think.
It's relative,
I mean, it depends on like your perspective.
right? So it's relative. So would you say
Yeah.
it's created then?
I mean, some truths are created and some truths are found. I mean,
Doesn't that contradict itself?
no, because like some of the things in the world, for example, that people think as that is true is fabricated or created.
So wouldn't that make it not true?
Yeah, but then I guess yeah, then truth is found.
Truth is discovered. How do you view? Do you reflect on your past experiences often, and if so, what information do you feel you gather from your past experiences?
I almost never think about my past experiences,
Right. So I guess that would
and
be.
I have like a really bad memory too.
So that would be like sort of like the result of like where you're an NI Dom. You said that you wouldn't have SI in your stack, your primary stack.
Yeah.
hmm Um, let's say you walk into a room and
Mhm.
there's one girl crying, and there are two women and a man sitting in the same room, and they're just looking down at their phones or looking at a newspaper. What's the first thing you do when you walk into the room?
Do I know the girl?
No, you just this is let's assume it's a doctor's office or something.
I would just come in and sit down then.
Uh, so you would just would you attempt to have contact with the girl at all?
I mean, if she's like making a scene or anything, probably yeah. But if she's just crying there and I don't
Silence,
know her,
fool, something like
then I
that.
won't. Yeah, then I wouldn't really like make an attempt to talk to her.
I see. Um, well, it sounds a lot like you're an INTJ. Uh, I'm not
Yeah.
sure if you already know your type.
No, like I know that like I took the test and I got an INTJ, but the thing is like when I read the different descriptions, like for example INTP or ISTP, like I relate to all of them basically.
Uh,
So
there's a there's a
Unify wants to ask if you're more interested in scientific facts or science fiction.
scientific fact.
there's a INTJ cognitive function, a Jungian cognitive function analysis, um, that I want to link you to from Personality Cafe, and you should read that and see how much you identify with it. Right.
Yeah,
Uh,
thanks.
let's see. So I think like have you been reading like the personality pages and stuff like that?
Yeah, I've been reading MBTI for like a couple of years now.
Yeah. The I feel like the personality pages can overall be kind of like. I mean, I thought I was an INTJ for the longest time because I would read the INTJ uh, personality pages and the 25 personality stuff, and I would be like, oh, that's totally me. I think when I started looking to the functions, that's when I realized like, oh, I'm not like this at all. But it sounds
Yeah.
like a lot like it sounds that like you may legitimately be like an INTJ.
Yeah, the thing is like on the descriptions too, like people they usually like people who are not INTJs claim themselves to be INTJs, so they over exaggerate what INTJs like are good at. For example, so like they'll make it out to seem that INTJs are like these evil masterminds that like want to take over the world and stuff like that.
Or yeah, like
But in
they're
actuality, like
emotionless
that's not true.
robots and shit like that.
Yeah,
Yeah. I link the
so it's like really hard. It's like really hard to like relate to some of it.
I linked the INTJ function breakdown in the chat. You could look over it. Um,
Thanks.
I might I don't know if I want to like read some of it off or if we should just like I feel like there'd be a lot of dead air if I kept the recording going. So I'm just gonna end this as possible part 1 at the moment, and then we'll revisit this once you finish watching, right? Or finish reading. My bad. But yeah, we'll end this
Okay.
as possible
Over the
part
phone.
1.